For decades, this community of ethnic Porta Twa Pygmies live in the high hills of the Nyaruguru district in southern Rwanda. But during the last century, the number of Twas in Rwanda has considerably diminished, as many have succumbed to poverty and were stigmatized by other communities in Rwanda because of what they say is their way of life. They suffer from social, economic and cultural discrimination. This is exacerbated by the fact that the Twa people, whose average size is less than 5 feet, have traditionally lived as hunters and gatherers in the forests throughout Central Africa for thousands of years. In the last century, an increasing number of Rwandan forests was expelled because of deforestation, development projects and the creation of protected areas, preventing the Pygmies from earning a living. Now, many of them, suffering from chronic poverty, have resorted to one of the few income-generating activities, pottery. Francine Mukamusoni, who spends most of her day making clay pots for sale to feed her family of 9 children, said many in the community feel excluded from the rest of the society.
Making clay pots does not bring enough money to sustain our family. It's a really degrading profession. But what I try to do is borrow some money and rent out farmland so I can get something to feed my family of 9 children.
A lack of access to education and agricultural land has increased the marginalization of this community that has few skills to make ends meet. Francine's husband, Francois Akimana, often helps to make pots, but says that life is very difficult because they have no other means to earn a living.
This is not life. Most of us don't have any farmland and it's become harder to find clay because it's too expensive. We used to live in the forest, which we also depended on to make a living. But even the forests have now been taken by the government. These are the main challenges that the Twa community faces.
The members of the Twa community, representing less than 1% of the total population, dominated by Hutus and Tutsis, have long accused local authorities of marginalizing them. According to government data, there are from 25,000 to 300,000 Twa people left in Rwanda, but the numbers have gradually decreased as many die because of poverty. Zeppelin Karimba is a senator of the Twa community and president of the Community of Porters in Rwanda, an organization designed to strengthen the skills of the Twa community through pottery. Karimba said that although the local authorities have taken steps towards integrating Twas in society in general, only 4% of the Twa community have access to land and others live in extreme poverty.
The dwindling numbers of the Twa community are not surprising because currently the Twas make up 0% out of 11 million Rwandans. It is estimated that there are around 350,000, and as you can see, that's a very small number. This is due to the fact that many of them often die from chronic diseases they encounter, mostly at a very young age. Their children are born in poor conditions without clothes or food.
Karimba also added that the Twa community needed to get out of isolation and change their attitudes and outlook on life in order to integrate them into the wider society.
The most pressing issue at the moment for the Twa community is that they have a different mindset, and there has to be a way to change that because it's still difficult for them to integrate with other ethnic communities. But this could change if there are programs and policies specifically targeted to this community to enable them to participate in their own development and give them opportunities to better their lives and give them access to farmland.
Political scientist Albert Ridatsimbuwa explained that the issue of integrating the Twa was a challenge for the authorities in Rwanda since the time of independence because of their isolation. Ridatsimbuwa added that the Twa must make an effort to fight for their rights.
There is nothing that can stop this group to go to school. There is nothing, to have access to education. There is nothing that would stop this group to have access to any poverty reduction program. Nothing else than eventually a collective attitude that would be there just to mark that they are different.
Rwandan officials say they do not consider the Twa community as separate from other Rwandan communities and would therefore not be recognized as a special group.